get in that playoff spot. They didn't last season. That was obviously a big loss for them. But that could be subject to change. I hope we do beat them. Would love it if we beat them.
Evening, pot pickers. Finchy here. Hope you're well.
Bit dodgy from in there.
But of next season, who's going to be in the middle of the park?
Be strong.
Hello, my name's Laura Royal, and today I'm going to be predicting League One, the Championship, and the Premier League table for the 23-24 season. Okay, let's start with League One. Sadly, Reading are in this league this season. I'm not very happy about it, but that's a topic for a different video. Here we go. So at the bottom, I've gone for Stevenage, Northampton, Burton, Port Vale. You know, Stevenage, I just don't think they have the quality to set up in League One next season. Same with Northampton Town. Burton, I know that Plymouth Argyle have gone for one of their players, which is going to be poor for Burton to lose out on, but good for Plymouth Argyle. And Port Vale are going to go the same reason as Northampton and Stevenage. They had a really bad season last season. I think it will continue. In mid-table, I've gone for Cheltenham, Fleetwood, Carlisle, Cambridge, Oxford and Wigan. Now Wigan might be a bit of a weird one, but the reason I say Wigan because I think their club is run so poorly. There's a very good chance, I reckon, they get with some sort of points deductions or something next season, because the managerial situation last season in the Championship was awful, and the spending at the club is just not great either. Oxford, coming off back of a disappointing season from last season, only narrowly escaping the drop. I hope we do beat them. Would love it if we beat them, but that'd be amazing. Cambridge, a bit better than last season, of course. With them, I think they survived on the final day, if I'm right. Carlisle as well, I'd say that's a decent spot for them. And Fleetwood and Cheltenham, also decent spots for them. Moving up to the other mid-table teams, we've just missing out on playoffs. I've gone for Exeter, Charlton, Bristol Rovers, Shrewsbury, Wycombe, Leyton Orient and Pompey. Exeter, they had a decent season last season, losing out to Plymouth though in the Devon derby. I think I'm right by saying that, I'm not too sure. Derby, Charlton as well. Really want to go to Charlton away next season. It doesn't really matter in the predictions video, but really want to go there. Hopefully I do. Bristol Rovers, decent season for them. I think that'd be quite good for them. Wycombe, however, I feel like Wycombe, right, they want to get in that playoff spot. They didn't last season. That was obviously a big loss for them. But that could be subject to change. I don't know what Wycombe will do next season, but I do reckon that they have a very good chance of getting into playoff spots. But right now, I'm just not seeing it. Leyton Orient, I think that's a bit of a surprise for some people, but I really do think they'll do well next season with the fans back in the club, solid. And Pompey's always up there, brilliant club and brilliant fans. Moving up to the playoffs, I've gone for Derby, Peterborough, Blackpool and Reading. So, Derby, obviously Wayne Rooney left them 2 seasons ago after saying to keep them up. Bit dodgy from him there, but you know, it's all right. But they lost out to McGoldrick to, I think, Notts County. McGoldrick was a solid player. I've got Peterborough as well. Don't know how they lost that against Sheffield Wednesday in the playoffs. Just poor from them, but I do reckon they'll get it again. Blackpool, excellent club, really well run. You know, definitely they'll get playoffs. And us, Reading. You know, some people think we're going to win the league. Some people think we're going to come second, going around that playoff spot. I'm a Reading fan. I see us either doing really well this season or finishing mid-table, honestly. But if we do get playoffs, that's a win for me. I just hope we don't go down again. I'm moving on to the 2 promoted sides. I've gone for Bolton and Barnsley. Barnsley, you know, playoff finalists last season against Sheffield Wednesday. Solid performance from them, but then losing out at the last couple of minutes from a bullet header. You can't really take it too well. And I've gone for Bolton to win the league. You know, I think Bolton, they're a good side. You know, I think losing out at James Trafford in goal, if he does leave, of course, isn't too good for them. But I reckon them two will be promoted, and then to be promoted off playoffs, it's hard to say. I reckon Derby versus Reading in the first round. I'd say Reading wins that with a 1-1 draw in the first leg away at Derby, and then a 1-0 win at the Majayski, or the second leasing, however you want to call it, in the second leg. And then Blackpool vs Peterborough, I think Blackpool steamroll past them 2-0 at home. and then 1-0 away. The final, Reading versus Blackpool, it'll be tough. I think I'll go for Reading on this one. I think Reading will definitely pull out the bag and get promoted again. But that's all subject to change. Like literally this morning, I just heard that Naby Sarr left the club for some team in Qatar, which is a bit. I didn't really understand that. But you know, he may have had like a release clause saying that if we got relegated, he could leave. Who knows? Okay, now we go on to the Championship, where Reading need to be in 2 seasons or so, hopefully. Relegated. This might be a weird one. I've gone for Ipswich, Plymouth, and Rotherham. Not necessarily in that order, but something like that. You know, Ipswich definitely have good fans, good backing from the team, solid manager as well. There's a good chance they stay up, but I'm just not seeing it. Plymouth, you know, I said earlier they're going over that Burton centre back or midfielder. I'm not too sure who he is, if I'm honest, but I've seen it in on my One Football app, which I think will be a great signing for them if you do get him. Rotherham, of course, they had mid-season last season. Surviving, of course, which is good, but I just don't see him surviving next season. Just surviving, I've gone with QPR, Huddersfield and Stoke. QPR, off the back of an awful season where they should have really done better. Huddersfield, you know, I think Neil Warnock will definitely do better with them. Maybe not as picking up as many losses, but definitely not winning as much either. We've got Stoke. I don't really know what to say about Stoke. You know, they've got a few decent players in their team, like Josh Laurent. You know, I think they won't be completely and utterly safe throughout the entire season, but they don't think they'll have to watch their backs towards the end of the season. Moving on to mid-table, I've got Cardiff, Birmingham, Sheffield Wednesday, Preston, Hull and Millwall. Cardiff, of course, not having a great season last season, and I think that will continue as well. Not really seeing too much from the transfer window. Birmingham, I think they're going to sell Joe Bellingham to Sunderland, which get a couple of bits of money in, but I think they'll use that wisely and jump up a couple of positions compared to last season. Sheffield Wednesday, I think will do really, really well. Surviving will be their main goal, and then build on that for next season. Preston, I just don't see them doing what they did last season. You know, finishing that top half of the table. See them dropping off a little bit, but certainly not a bad season. Hull, average season really for them. Liam Rosinia's doing an amazing job there. Millwall, very big fall off from just about getting playoffs to the last day. I think that was against Blackburn, and both of them didn't get it. And moving on to the top half of the table, I've got Swansea, Bristol, Norwich, Watford, West Bromwich Albion and Sunderland. Swansea, decent players, good manager. I think they'll do really, really well next season. Bristol, they're going to lose out Alex Scott. I think he might be going to Brighton. I think I've seen that in some transfer rumours. Norwich, I think they're going to lose Nunez and obviously losing Pookie as well. It's not going to be great for them either. Watford, again, same as Norwich. Maybe the parachute payments will help them out a little bit, but I don't think they will. West Brom, decent season, coming off the back of last season where, you know, Steve Bruce and Stark really screwed them over. Then their new manager who took over has done did really well, so I reckon that will continue. Sunderland just dropping off in the playoff spot. You know, you can't really mock Tony Mowbray there. Done an amazing job, and I think they'll definitely continue into next season. Now going into the playoff spots, and I've gone Middlesbrough, Blackburn, Coventry City, and Leeds. Middlesbrough, obviously, really want to get back into that playoff position, and I reckon they will. Michael Carrick, brilliant manager, and I do think that this time he will definitely get to the final of the playoffs. Blackburn, you know, definitely getting playoffs after last season. Coventry, I think they'll do the same. If they don't lose out with Gustavo Hamer or Victor Yoker, I think they do the same. But even if they do, they got a great goal scorer in Matty Godden and a good midfielder in Ben Sheaf. Leeds, obviously coming off the back of the Premier League, they have a couple of good players and might get a really, really good result here. And now for my two promoted sides to the Premier League, I've gone with Leicester and Southampton. Bit of a no-brainer for me. Leicester, Southampton, best teams in the league for me by far. Will do really, really well and definitely get to the Premier League. Plus spot winners, I think the final will be between Middlesbrough and Blackburn. And I'm going to go with a 1-0 winner over Middlesbrough from Blackburn. So Blackburn back in the Premier League.
Evening, pot pickers. Finchy here. Hope you're well. So here we are. We are already, would you believe, talking about the Premiership for next season and how everyone's going to end up. Wow, I mean, what an end of season we've had with West Ham and Man City both being triumphant with the European Cup. So awesome, really. And, you know, let's be honest, it's the world's favourite football league, the Premiership. What's not to like about it? your club, your time. I'm going to pick how we're going to end up. So here we go. So unfortunately, getting relegated this season, I am really undecided, but I am going to go with, unfortunately, chaps, nothing personal, Sheffield United, Luton bottom. Sorry, Luton fans. I think you've had an amazing last season, but Luton bottom, Sheffield United second bottom, and final relegation team. I'm sorry, Forest fans, but it's not the Forest. Then we move into the bottom half of the table, 13 to 17. Gary O'Neill, love you, but I still think you've only got enough until you move to a bigger stadium to be in this next section. But hey, at least it's not relegation. Fulham, I think you're in the same band. Burnley, I have to say, romped the Championship last season, so I think you will be the only survivor out of the top three that's gone up. So Burnley, you'll be with Fulham and Bournemouth. Likewise, I think Palace may lose a couple of players. We're hearing about Elise maybe being off.
Wilfried Zaha going
Zaha
to
as well, Ollie.
Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, Saudi Arabia. I mean, all those sides, all those players going for the big bucks over in Saudi. I mean, so I think you'd have to have Palace there, and finally Wolves. I think Wolves are a great side on their day, but I just think they haven't got quite enough to be in the next tier. So the next tier, Ollie, is, as we know, mid-table Premiership sides at the end of next season. Who's going to be in the middle of the park? Well, for me, I think because Brighton have lost their playmaker to Liverpool, Ollie, I think Brighton will be in that. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think McAllister's a big loss. However, they've got great players coming up, like the Uruguayan Don. I don't know what his name is. He scored two good goals against. He scored one against Man City and one against Chelsea.
He's the forward,
and
right?
Enciso, is it his name?
Enciso.
Enciso?
Yeah.
Matoma as well, good player. And Lewis Dunk, who I think is an unsung hero, Lewis Dunk.
Unsung hero, I don't disagree. Then we move to the Villa. I think Villa will be in this next patch. I mean, I know they ended the season incredibly well with Emery, and they've got some big support. I just think maybe there's some teams above them that will be above them.
You also got to take into the fact that they might be focusing on Europe.
They may well be focusing on
like
Europe.
West Ham did.
Well, we'll talk about the Hammers in a few minutes, I'm sure. But yes, I think Villa could be in mid-table this season, and only because, as I said, there's a couple of sides that I think will really gather momentum on how they've been this season. One particular side that plays in blue that you'll come to in a sec. Brentford, I think they'll be mid-table. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I reckon so as well.
You think Brentford will be
losing Ivan
mid-table?
Toney with that 8-month ban for gambling is massive for them.
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, the guy was on fire, wasn't he? You got to feel sorry for the old Tony. But I think mid-table for Brentford. But let's be honest, for a club, I think their capacity is about 20,000, isn't it, in the stadium? So again, like Bournemouth, really, if these clubs had bigger stadiums, I think the support would be there for them, and I think that would just edge them up a bit further. But hey, mid-table, not too shabby. West Ham, we're talking about the Hammers. I mean, what a couple of weeks they've had. David Moyes, so pleased for him. I know I'm a little bit biased because I do enjoy West Ham's second side for me, although often a lot of people's second sides, Reading obviously, but we'll talk about that another day. But West Ham, a great side. So my gut tells me that poor old Decker's Rice, even though the supporters have asked him to stay, I think he'll be going. And therefore mid-table for the Hammers, and they'll be thinking about Europe as well. Europa League. So that's what I think. Another mid-table side will be the Hammers, and final spot for me will be Everton. Everton, because I think Everton, let's be honest, they were nearly relegated, and I think they've got a great manager in Sean Dyche. I think they've got some great support. I think they've got some good players, but an improvement on last season for the Blues fans will be mid-table. So for me, they're my final mid-table side. Ollie, what do you think? Anything you'd like to change about that?
I mean, I think I'd swap Everton and Burnley.
Would you?
I would.
Interesting.
I don't think Sean Dyche can do that big of a bounce back, but I do think they'll definitely do better than they did last season.
Big side. So, a team that I've just put slightly above the mid-table. It's Chelsea.
Qualifying for the Europa Conference League.
Qualifying for Europa Conference League. I think they will be there. I think they're going to be just above the mid-table. You know, this is 7th position. So Chelsea. I mean, who's the manager now? They've taken on
Mauricio Pochettino.
Well, I mean, maybe people are saying I'm being a bit unfair because I mean, Pochettino's a good manager. A great stadium, great location, great players. I mean, look how much they spend.
I know, 625 million.
Ooh. So, you know, maybe I'm being a bit unfair, but I can't see them catching United.
Yeah.
Man United are in my 6th position.
Qualifying for the conference, not the Conference League, the Europa League.
Yes. I mean, they've got a great manager, great stadium, good history, but I just don't think they've got enough players to challenge further. Do you agree, Ollie?
It all depends on whether Varane is fit and Casemiro's fit, or if Casemiro don't get red cards.
Quality. Oh yeah. Got a bit of a headstrong scenario, hasn't he?
Yeah.
As he goes through the season.
Bit of a Roy Keane.
Well, yeah. I mean, Roy Keane was a wonderful player for United, and in the glory days, they needed somebody like him, and maybe Casemiro is the same guy now. So that's United, and then what do we move on to next, Ollie?
Well, next to United, you've gone for Tottenham. I know they're a bit hard to see with the background on the tier list.
Do you know something? I'm actually thinking that I'm going to actually not put Spurs. I think we should swap Chelsea with Tottenham.
So I think Chelsea.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Well, do you know what? Let's be honest, Spurs fans. If Harry Kane stays, maybe you are going to be ex-United. If Harry Kane goes, I think we might just drop.
But you've got that new manager though, Ange Postecoglou.
He's the ex-Celtic manager. Right?
Yes.
Well, I mean, he did wonders at Celtic, but with the greatest respect to Celtic fans, a huge club. It is the Scottish Premiership.
Yeah, well.
But
he took Australia to a World Cup, won a load of cups in Japan, won the league with Celtic a load of times. It's not a bad appointment from Tottenham.
No, I suppose you're right, Ollie. The more I think about it, maybe the Loyal Roar's right. Let's roll with it. So then we're moving into the top 4 spots.
Yep.
Okay, so top 4 spots, and really, let's think about this. We'll come to top spot in a minute, but in the other 3 spaces in the top 4, I am going to say the Gooners. I think Arsenal will be probably second.
Yeah, I'd say
Declan Rice may go there. We hear these rumours. So if Declan Rice goes there, will that be enough for them to challenge for first space?
Who knows?
I think we're going to go Arsenal second for the moment, right? And in 3rd spot, I am going to go for an ever-improving side, and a side that's got uber amounts of money. You're right, it's black and white. It's Newcastle. What do you think? Do you think they're going to be 3rd?
I think Eddie Howe's done an amazing job this season, and I think they do. But have you heard about the stuff's in their contract?
No.
So like the Saudi ownership, they can buy and sell from the Saudi Pro League very, very easily.
Can they?
Yes.
Like preferential treatment?
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is mental.
Do you think therefore they're going to be above 3rd spot? I can't see.
I don't think.
Public, what do you think? Are Newcastle going to be above 3rd spot in the Prem come next May? I'm not so sure. But here's where you heard it first. I think Newcastle might win the FA Cup this season.
I agree. I actually really agree.
So little side spin to this programme this evening. Newcastle will finish 3rd and win the FA Cup. Get your money on it. It's probably 10 or 12 to 1. Worthwhile. And in 4th spot.
Liverpool.
It is the mighty Reds. We think definitely top 4. Jurgen will make. Where do they finish this season?
I don't know,
5th, 6th?
5th, 6th, yeah.
Yeah, so there is momentum, Jurgen, and we love you, Jurgen. We do. I think you're going to be 4th.
We met him in Bob Ricard, didn't we?
We did meet him in Bob Ricard, yes. In London, which, by the way, is a great bar to go
Definitely
to.
go there.
Bob Ricard, because it's owned by one guy called Bob, 66%. Ricard, 33%. Bob Ricard. Interesting. Anyway, so that's pretty much it done. Apart from the Loyal Royal is going to tell you who's finishing top of the Prem in 23-24.
It's a no-brainer, isn't it? Let's be honest. Manchester City, There's that good of a club. Erling Haaland definitely wants to get more than 52 goals this season. He wants to go.
I mean,
he said in an interview he wants to constantly improve.
Listen,
is
it just us? Is it just us, the two loyal royals, or does everyone think that man is just a robot? I mean, he's AI all over the show, isn't he?
Yeah, true.
I mean, he is. What can you can't. He's just awesome. But you know what? I think they've got class absolutely in every position twice.
Yeah. That
is why.
That's why I think they win.
That is why Manchester City.
Think about this, right? If Carl Walker gets injured, Akanji comes in to replace him.
Yeah.
If Bernardo Silva gets injured, they've got Foden to replace him. If Haaland gets injured, they got Alvarez.
You know.
If De Bruyne gets injured, they've got Mahrez. And not even that, they've got new young talents like Lewis, Palmer. Palmer, that's everything is Palmer.
Yeah.
Cole Palmer, all doing so well right now.
It's awesome. It's absolutely awesome. So you know what? It'd be really interesting to see how far the two loyal royals are at the end of the season, but I think we're going to be there or thereabouts. I honestly can't see much change. There's only a couple of sides I think are variable, and they are.
I go United, Tottenham, Chelsea, and Brighton.
The only other one is Villa for me.
Yes.
Surprise package maybe again, but
or Luton. Or not all Burnley actually. Burnley.
Man. You know what? I hate saying that it's Luton, Forest, and Sheffield United because Forest absolutely romped at the end of last season, and it could be Bournemouth or Forest. But then again, could it be Burnley? I don't think Palace or Wolves will go down. Fulham's the only other one. So really, it's for the drop. It's any one of three from Sheffield United, Forest, Luton, Bournemouth, and Fulham. But the top, it's definitely
Man City,
Arsenal, Newcastle, Liverpool.
Well, that was mine and my dad's predictions. I went for Championship in League One. You might see that later on.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that, Ollie.
And that's my dad's predictions for the Premiership. Are you happy with that?
Yeah, I think I'm going to sign off on that one.
Right, and as always, guys, stay loyal.